Hey guys, a while ago a tragic accident happened in one of the Iranian airlines. So here's a tragic story of how a Boeing 737-500's engine sucked an engineer inside and killed him. Hi, welcome back to Persian Crew. This is Salar, and today I'm about to talk about a very tragic and horrifying accident happened in Iran a while ago. On the 2nd of July, a commercial flight took off from Tehran, the capital of Iran, to the southern industrial city of Chabahar, with 139 passengers and crew on board. The aircraft involved was a Boeing 737-500 series, actually a 27 years old one. As you know guys, because of United States sanctions on Iran, Iran is not allowed to buy new aircrafts, which means the average age of the fleet is usually more than 25 years old, which is a lot actually. During the flight, the aircraft encounters a very severe oil leak from the engine number 2. So it gets to the point that they actually have to shut down the faulty engine to prevent from further damage. Because they were actually near Chabahar, they did not have to divert to another airport. After successfully landing in Chabahar, the cabin and the flight crew went to the hotel because it was clear that the problem was serious and they needed time to fix it. The flight had one engineer on board, but it was clear that it wasn't a one-man job. So the airline actually calls 2 more engineers from Tehran to get on the plane and fly to Chabahar. After hours working on the faulty engine, the engineers fixed the problem. So they called the crew to come from the hotel and perform a final test on the aircraft to check that it's ready for flight. So here's the situation. The crew arrives and they should perform the final check and check whether the problem is fixed or not. The captain, who was an elite instructor with more than 15,000 hours flight time under his belt. When he gets the confirmation from the ground staff, he starts the engine. Then for simulating takeoff and cruise phase of the flight, the engineers ask the captain to actually rev up the engine to a 70% thrust. Guys, as you know, 70% thrust is actually a little bit below the amount of thrust needed for takeoff. So it's a lot of power. And in that phase, the engine is actually sucking a lot of air inside to maintain a good combustion. So there are 2 engineers near the engine. One of them gets too close to check actually if there's any more oil leak from the engine, and he gets too close, guys. The other engineer shouts, "Don't go too close, you are very close and it's very dangerous. Please come back." He replies, "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing." And just after he finishes that sentence, the unthinkable happens. The engine violently sucks him inside and kills him. No one actually could believe their eyes. Nobody could even think of what happened, because it happened in a matter of seconds, in a blink of an eye. Actually watching your colleague lose his life in this way, which is very violent and very horrific, is not something to live by, and it's not something which happens every day. So no one could believe what they were seeing. Remember, at this point, no one in the cockpit or the cabin knows what has happened outside the aircraft. They just can hear the unusual sounds and unusual vibrations from the engine. So they think, okay, the engine still has a problem. And actually, when the captain sees the unusual amount of engine vibration, he immediately turns off that engine and cuts off the fuel to that engine. But it's too late. The damage has been already done. He was dead. It was only when the ground staff rushed towards the captain and in tears and disbelief that the captain finally understood what has happened, guys. It was a catastrophic accident. No one could believe what they've seen, and some people fainted, some people cried, and some even they couldn't walk up to the scene. It was a horrifying scene. It was a complete disaster. And the shocking thing to realize, guys, is that he was a trained engineer. He knew exactly the dangers of a running engine on a 70% thrust, and no one even knows why he got so close, and why on earth he didn't listen to his colleague. He shouted, "Don't go too close, you are very close, it's dangerous, come back." He answered, "I know what I'm doing, don't worry." And immediately the tragedy happened. Even beyond that, each engine is clearly equipped with signs and stickers to tell the ground staff that this is enough. This is actually far enough. You cannot go further near the intake of the engine, and no one knows why he actually ignored all of this. No one knows. Please share your point of view with me in the comment section. Let me know that what do you think about this accident? Who's at fault here? What could anyone or any organization do to prevent this kind of accident from happening again in the future? Remember, we always need your support. We are at the beginning of our journey. Please stay with us and share our content with your friends. Again, thank you. This story once again highlights the importance of safety, rules and regulations. And the worst part is, guys, we as trained people tend to ignore these rules more often than others, than amateurs actually, because we tend to know ourselves that we are immune to danger because we know everything. And unfortunately, all of these accidents, all of these very rare and actually childish accidents happens to the best of the best. Thank you guys for watching this video to the end. I'll catch you next one. Thank you. Peace.